a lot of stuff about they'll use the words like inspiration and motivation and but more importantly they'll say to me, you were everywhere. Like where they went, I was there, and they saw me and they knew me, and they were just like, we never wanted to let you down. And then they they get older and they realize that's what we want to be for our kids and for the people they wanted. They wanted to be maybe a better parent now.
Wow.
And types of thing, because they had models in their life who loved them.
So you're a great leader in that, yes?
I don't know. So hopefully I hope so. I'd like to be. You have to ask other people that, but I try to be. I take it really seriously, and more importantly, when I lead people, I want them to. It's not whether they like me or not like me. It's just can I get them to do better than they thought they could do?
That's a good test question, isn't it?
Yeah. It's that's what I said. Leadership's about something. It's not just going to work. I call it the surviving Tuesday concept. I mean, we go to work and it's Tuesday and let's get from 8 to 5, and I just think it's bigger than that,
Yeah. Well, what is it in life for you?
Well, for me, it's about it's about trying to make the workplace in this particular city. It's trying to make the workplace a place where there's a common sense of something bigger than just the work. So like I'm in the Visitors Bureau business now, and I'm trying to teach them we're not just about booking business, Like we can go out and book business and conventions, but really what we're doing is we're providing hope for our community, because the more money we raise, the more money comes into the economy, better services for people, better streets, better roads. We're actually in the work of trying to really help a city.
Yes.
And help people live a better quality of life. And so sometimes the work we do is bigger than just the work. And I try to make where I do, the leadership that I do is make people believe in the bigger picture.
Big difference.
It's huge difference. And when I travel to corporate America, the message is always, I know what you do, but what are you about? And there's a difference.
So when you talk to kids and versus adults, let's call it, is there a different message?
Yeah, kids, I do both, and when I talk to young people, the idea is like, do you understand that the decisions that you make right now will affect you the rest of your life? And are you willing to just consider the possibility that you can have what you want 20 years from now? And what decisions will you make right now that will impact your future? And if the only decision is you're going to choose to believe in yourself, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Adults, it's more about like, look around you, I mean, are you surrounded by people that you care about? Are you treating people right? And are you working towards something that's bigger than just going to work and going home? Are you trying to make the community better and your company better and the lives of people better?
Yes. Do you think, was there a moment right after your accident where the hopelessness turned to hope for you?
Yeah. It was an evolution, and I went through this whole period of not understanding, why me,
of course,
and what I've done so terribly wrong to be put in this situation, and somewhere in this continuum of my junior and senior year of high school, because I went back to try and graduate with my friends. My coach had convinced me that it was kind of silly. He would have me strapped to this weight machine, and his thing was, I'm going to be here the day. And I was paralyzed. I couldn't move, but he would take my arms and tie them every day to this weight machine. And I would sit there and just be tied for a long time, for like a year and a half, tied to this thing. And one point in my senior year, I remember when I moved the bar. And I kind of was like, you're right. You were right. All this time you were right, and everybody else was wrong. And we called it the no-hopers out there. They were wrong. And he was right. He had given me this alternative to despair.
Wait, they said that you couldn't move the bar.
Well, people it was always that. Everything I learned in the first 2 years from whether it was therapists and doctors, nurses, says can't, never, never. And that's all it was, And in fact, when I was getting ready to graduate from high school, the staff at the rehabilitation staff was like, what you do when you leave high school is when you go to another institution, we put you on Social Security, you go on Medi-Cal, and that's your life, and that's what you do. And then if that's what it was, that's what it was. But for me, I had a bigger American dream than that.
What was your dream?
Well, I thought, you go into college and you go to get an education. For me, it was get an education and get a job and have a family.
Which you did, right?
Well, you did. I did those things, and it wasn't
did
like
all of it, yeah.
It wasn't like curing cancer, or it wasn't like trying to climb out. It was just like I wanted to go and make my place in the community and have the things everybody has, And I just thought that was what my future was, and somebody else was taking it away from me, and I was kind of like, wait a minute, I'll decide that. And of course I had this guy telling me, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And the day I moved that bar, I knew he was right.
Wow, that's a great story.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it's a tribute to just the fact that somebody believed in me.
And then you went on to get your degree in education,
well,
right?
Yeah. What I did was I won high school, you know, and how many wins have you had a day is you go every day and you're trying to win, and I won. One of my big wins was I wanted to graduate with my class, and when I did, I went to win the next thing, and the next thing after that was go to college. And
now you said you were poor, so how'd you go to college?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know which one it is, but because of my injury, the Department of Rehabilitation paid for my education because they said we want you to be a good, productive citizen, and one of the things we do is help you get an education. So they took care of my whole 4 years, 4/6 years of college. I did 4 years of college in 6 years.
Were you on the long-term plan?
I was, yeah. My 4-year college education was the best 6 years of my life, but I made it through. But it was interesting because you would go in. I went into it with the same philosophy. Now, my coach wasn't around me every day anymore, but I had come to believe what he said. So college was about winning each step, and at some point the next step was graduate from college, and I did. And then to win that, then you win there, you go and you get a job, and it all just continued.
What was your first job?
My first job, I had through college. I'd started coaching this elementary school basketball team just for fun, and I fell in love with it, and so I did it for a couple of years. I was in college, and so that school, which was Fort Washington Elementary School in Central California, that school hired me as a 6th grade teacher when I graduated from college, and then eventually, years later, I became principal of that school.
Do you like teaching or on the administrative side, typically?
The truth be told, the day I got into administration, if I could live that day over, I would never go into administration. There was nothing better in the world than having a classroom of kids that are your babies that you have in your room every day, and coaching. For me, I was a coach after school. And that was the purest, happiest time of my life. But at the same time, you're raising a family, and there's more, get paid a lot more as an administrator. And I thought I could make a difference as an administrator. And so I don't regret doing it, but just from pure happiness and joy, those times in the classroom are nothing better.
What grade's your favorite?
Actually, I'm one of the bizarre people. The best experience I had teaching was 8th grade. Because teachers will tell you they don't want to teach middle school, but my year of teaching 8th grade was probably the most fun I ever had.
What do you
and
think?
I still see those kids all the time.
Really?
They're probably 35, so right now, they're in their mid-30s, and I talk to them on Facebook every day, and the kids that were in my class are still really good friends of mine.
Do you like the idea of being able to have that kind of impact on kids? Is that what drives you? What drives you about the education?
There's a couple things that drive me, and one of them was having the impact on the individual students, and that's something you see every day, and you get that immediate feedback. But there was a couple other things. One was the drive that you have of the relationships you have with your staff, because that's a really long year. School's like a dog year. It's like 1 year is like 7. And so the staff, keeping your staff together and keeping them focused and keeping them motivated on this idea of a bigger picture. And because I used to tell my staff, we're not just teaching kids, we're in the hope business. And so trying to keep them focused on that was critically important.
Yes.
But I'm still driven by the idea, though, of changing the system and continuing to change the educational system to be about making a better life for kids and not about taking tests.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so that
the
really
whole
drives me, yeah.
Now you have 2 other books, right? About
I do.
From the Seat of Your Pants.
Leading from the Seat of My Pants is about building culture, and I made a top 10 list for myself one day, just horsing around, like what are the things I really believe in, and I wrote it down, and then I rationalized why each one was in my top 10, and it became a book. And I do a lot of workshops. In fact, I have a workshop coming up next week, and I base my leadership workshop on that book. And my goal is not that you take my 10 and make them yours, is that when you finish my book and you hear me speak, you go out and make your own list. And I always ask the question, what do you believe? I'll tell you what I believe. What do you believe?
And the list is? What's the list?
Well, my list, the top 10, it starts with believe in something. And it's this idea like, I believe in hope and love. What do you believe in? And then there was dance with the guy that brung you. And that just means like we become leaders sometimes and we think we have to adopt some new persona. and behavior, and we have to be ourselves and what got us there. And then it goes through this list of things like, be aware, manage, put your resources towards the things you believe in the most. And it talks about being a good decision maker. And then and there's other, be a good collaborative guy. You can't, the dictatorship is over and we're team focused. And then the last couple I get down the list, and the one of them is celebrate every day. And the number two, the number one is remember people are watching, and you have to live with integrity. And you can't say hope and love and then go out there and be rude,
Yes,
definitely. And mean to people. So you have to live what you say.
What do you do to celebrate every day, generally?
You know what? I'm one of those guys too. When it starts with like in a meeting, like when I lead my staff, we don't ever say how you doing, how's your day. We always say how many wins have you had today. And so we come up with one thing every day when we meet. We have one thing that each of us has done that we think is good. And so the whole culture, our work culture celebrates by picking the things that we did that particular day or that particular week that we really thought made our organization better. And we talk about it and we cheer.
Wow.
Yeah, so we in my high school, we did the same with our staff there. Our teachers and our administrators, we got together once a week and we decided how many wins have you had today, and we would share. So we were just demonstrative and actually asked the question, and we would share and celebrate and clap and cheer and act silly.
So would you consider yourself a person that's different anymore? I mean, you don't seem very different to me. In fact, if anything, you just seem like a person who's people would want to model and emulate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty funky. So I don't know if it's different. I think I've got a unique story. I've got a unique way about me. I certainly look different. So I think from the standpoint of the stereotype of leadership, I probably don't meet the mold.
No, you don't meet it at all.
Yeah,
that's what's so
but
great.
That's what I like. I say so it's different, but I like that part of it. So, but from the standpoint of just being a dude that, raising a family and living in the community, it could be your neighbor, just like anybody else. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to, shall we say, leave us with some message of hope, what would it be?
You know what? And I'm going to sound like I've said this before because I've said this before in speeches, but I have never figured out a way to eliminate challenges. I've never figured out a way to go through life without any obstacles. I've never figured out a way to stop bad things from happening. But I have figured out a way not to succumb to it. And I always tell people there is, you can't eliminate the bad stuff, but we cannot be held hostage by it. And so there's an alternative to despair. And the alternative to despair is called hope. And the way we believe in hope, I don't know how everybody does it, but for me, it's every single day when you go to bed at night, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, how many wins have you had today? And I'm guaranteeing you can think of one. And when you think of one, go to bed, go to sleep, and wake up the next day and go do it again. And that's what it's about.
Thank you, Jeff, for sharing your message of hope.
Thanks.
You're inspiring and terrific.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I appreciate you watching tonight, and it's our intention to give you more hope in your life. Thanks for watching. Good night.